welcome. If you haven't been here before, I'm a very amateur distance runner who's also doing a PhD at the same time. This is the first video in my new series following my training in the 10K. My goal is to run as fast as possible over the cross country and track season, with 3 key road races to mark my progress over the next year. This is Running to Midnight. Hey Goobers, we're back again, but today we're going to be talking about tapers. Now we're talking about it now because at the end of a training block, usually you need to taper to freshen up, feel nice and sharp for a race. But this is actually going to be the first episode of a year-long series of episodes. They're going to be about one race. I'm not going to release what that race is yet, but the main goal in the next few months is going to be cross-country races and then the Telford 10K in December. So we're talking about a taper now because I'm at the end of my last block of training. So I've done about 4 races in 6 weeks or so. So I've had to taper almost every week. And this is kind of how I do it. These are kind of the examples that I use for most of my taper weeks. The first workout is going to be a bit different. So usually I do 2 different taper workouts in a week. On a Tuesday if I'm racing on a Saturday, so about 4 days before. Usually I'll do a regular normal workout. Sometimes I'll reduce the intensity or the amount of volume. It just really depends on how I'm feeling in the week. And then 2 days out, I'll do something much more slimmed back. Usually I'll do some tempo work and then some race pace work. But we'll go about that in the second workout. The first workout, though, is going to be a very normal low mileage week, low intensity week taper session, and that's some strides and then 3x1K at tempo. So we can talk about tempo in another video, but it's just kind of a moderate sort of effort, something you can hold for about 60 minutes, and then 4x400 at around 5K to 10K pace. It all depends on what you're racing for, but in cross country it's always going to be around 5K, maybe at the most 12K, 13K if there's certain races later in the year. And then it ends with 3x200 at pretty quick, pretty fast, probably around 3K pace, but 3K pace is pretty arbitrary. It's basically just fast, especially when it's on a track. You can really rip those. And then do some strides at the end. So yeah, here's a little snippet of
it's a different age. Even if you're mad, don't show your rage. Hit a wall, you'll only lose. Keep your cool, there's nothing to prove. Stand tall, rise above, push through, show no love. Fight smart, stay ahead, no looking back, just move instead. No time to waste in a crowded scene. The goal is clear, keep your hands clean. It's not about where you've been, but the field you're in, the dreams you spin. Stand tall, rise above, push through, show no love. Fight smart, stay ahead, no looking back, just move instead. Suppress the feelings, play the game. In the end, only victory will remain. Different paths, new terrain. All the losses, all the gain. Stand tall, rise above, push through, show no love. Fight smart, stay ahead, no looking back, just move instead. When the pressure's high, don't step aside.
back from the run. Not actually. I'm filming this a few days later because I had to finish my confirmation report, which is my 1-year review for my PhD. So submitted that now. So now I can finish up this video. And I think that holds an important point in tapering. I always find that trying to taper for a race and trying to manage load, it's not just about the running. It can also be about life, trying to taper life a bit. I know that a lot of the time when I'm tapering, I have a lot more time to do work or whatever. So I try to orient a lot of that energy that I don't have to run and kind of do more work in that time, because I know that for a PhD, I have a lot of flexible time, which is really nice, but it's really hard to do running 100% and PhD 100% of the time, all the time. So it's kind of nice to have a bit of time to really work on my PhD fully and do a lot of writing, publications, that sort of thing. So a lot of the time I really try to manage that stress load, because your body doesn't know any difference from regular stress, whether it's work, life, running, and actual physical stress, which is the running bit. So I think that's just a valuable thing. And yeah, I tend to race quite a lot just because I enjoy it, and especially during cross country season there's so many races, and when you're in a club in Britain it's really common to race quite a lot just because there's so many nice opportunities to go to different places, race things. So in the last month or so I've raced the national cross country at the beginning, the Southern Road Relays, great race, and then I raced the National Road Relays, got chased by Emile Caresse for the first 500 meters until I got dropped by him, which was such a cool experience, and then raced the first Surrey League just last week. And I actually have another university race this Wednesday too, but it's less of an important race, but I'll still give it a good go. And when you have all these races, sometimes it's hard to figure out which one to actually pick out, especially because some of them you have to qualify for and you don't really know which one you want to aim for at the time. So it's good to look ahead at your schedule, try to pick one that you really, really want to focus on, because it's hard to mentally go again and again and again for races. So a lot of the time when I go into races that I know is not my main effort, I just think of it as the first few kilometers just going out as a workout, because I know how to do that and I know I can mentally do that and I don't get as nervous before it. And then I tell myself after those first 3 kilometers or however far that is, maybe the first quarter of a race, then I can really get going into it. One, that helps me pace the race a bit better, but also it helps mentally use it as more of a workout and then actually race when it's getting hard. So kind of tap into that race type effort, not for the whole race when it's not a hugely important race, but tap into it for some of the race instead. So that's kind of what I do. And the second workout is a bit different. I do a bit of tempo. So I do an 8-minute tempo. It could be a 2-kilometer tempo. I was just doing it on grass, so I did 8 minutes because it was easier. And then I did 4 by 90 seconds, which is essentially just 4 by 400 once again. And that is kind of at a race effort. So depending on what race you're doing, for cross country, that's usually 5K to 10K pace, but it could be half marathon pace. It could be 3K pace. I've done this work for a mile effort. I've done a little bit less. I've done 200s instead of 400s, but it's all very flexible for different sorts of races. And then I did some pretty hard strides. So very much almost all out, kind of trying to get that higher end speed going. But yeah, I hope you enjoy that in the beautiful Guildford. So yeah, enjoy. Hey, hope you enjoyed that small little workout there. I did it on grass. Honestly, I'll just recommend doing it on whatever surface you're going to end up doing it on race day. So since I was doing a cross-country race that week, I did it on the grass. If you're doing it on the track, do it on the track. If you're going to have a road race, I'd just do it on the roads. Find a nice little road loop. That's useful. Now I'm just making some pizza because everyone knows that the day before a race, the best way to carb load is pizza and pasta. For me, pizza works best. I can just make it from scratch, so it's no hassle trying to get something out or order something or anything. I can just let the dough rise, cook it into some pizzas. If you're interested in a recipe for it or anything, let me know and I can create that up. I love cooking, so happy to do that. As far as the rest of the video, I mean, the taper's already done. Like, you've done all the work 2 weeks ago, so it doesn't matter really what you do this week. It's just to help you feel the most comfortable with what you're doing, and that's kind of the main thing. This works for me, these workouts work for me, but you can do whatever you want. I know a lot of people who do very little running, no intensity. It doesn't really work that well for me. I like to keep my mileage the same, decrease the intensity a bit, and that usually helps me feel pretty sharp on race day. But it's each to their own, and you kind of just have to figure that out yourself. But hopefully some of these tips and tricks have helped with that. There is one other thing I want to talk about, and that's after the race, actually. So you go out, do the race, and whatever happens, happens. Now the day after, usually if I'm planning to do another race after, I need to do another run on a Sunday, whether it be a long run or just an easy run. And if the race goes pretty badly, I just get really amped up and I just want to crush the long run. And that's not usually the best way of going about it. Sometimes it can be good. It depends on where you are in your block. But personally, I like to try to keep that long run easy. And if I really want to attack something, I just do some hill strides or some strides at the end. And I can really let loose on those and it will make me feel better for the rest of the week, but it's not really destroying the rest of the training that I've already done and that big effort on race day, because that is going to be a big effort even if it doesn't go to plan. And then the alternate is, if it goes really well, sometimes you're just mentally spent because you've been in a long training block. It's okay to take the Sunday off. It's not going to hurt you or anything. It's probably good because it'll let your legs recover all the way. So that's totally fine to do. If you feel like you're just mentally spent, you just don't want to get up for a run, that's totally fine. You've done all the hard work. You just got to start planning for the next one. So yeah, that was kind of the whole point of this video, trying to figure out how a taper works for me, and maybe some of those ideas can be useful for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for episode 2 of this new series that I've created. First, we're going for the Telford 10K, and then we have another race, and then we have the finale of this, which I'll tell you in due course. See you next time.